discuss the special features of the metaphysical school of English poetry, substantiating your answer with the poems, The Good Morrow, The Sun Rising and the Canonization written by John Donne. Marks. 15–18. Answer. There appeared in the early Jacobean age a new school of poets, led by John Donne, who voiced their reaction against the conventional poetry of the Spenserians through their apparently novel and innovative treatment of various themes in poetry. It was Dr. Johnson who called Donne and his followers metaphysical poets, and the poetry they wrote came to be known as metaphysical poetry. The term metaphysical consists of two words, meta and physical, where meta means beyond, that is, the term means beyond physical. As has been mentioned earlier, these poets distinguished themselves by their novelty and innovativeness of writing, which stood in marked contrast to the straightforward sentiment and the lucid imagery of the Elizabethans. With a view to elucidating this type of poetry further, some of its salient features have been mentioned below. 1. The metaphysical poets display a great penchant for decorating their poetry with far-fetched images and occult resemblances. There is no freshness of thought, accuracy of description, nor are their words correctly chosen. Their poetry, according to Dr. Johnson, is a combination of dissimilar images, or discovery of occult resemblances in things apparently unlike. 2. Metaphysical poetry deals with abstract and deep psychological concepts. Love, faith, death, God, soul, afterlife and such other abstract concepts are the salient themes in metaphysical poetry. 3. The metaphysical poets are men of vast learning, and demonstrating their learning was the prime objective in their poetry. Their poetry is replete with obscure and recondite refreshness which very often perplexes the readers. 4. The thought that these poets seek to express in their poetry are new but seldom natural. They look beneath the surface of life, illuminate the deeper and darker places with revealing flashes. There is often found in their poetry a fusion of emotion and intellect which lends a peculiar touch to their poetry. 5. Perhaps the most important and striking feature of metaphysical poetry is the use of conceits therein. A conceit very generally refers to a similarity between two apparently dissimilar things. The poet compares and contrasts two apparently dissimilar things and thus tries to evoke a similarity between the two. This device proved a handy instrument for the poets to succeed in realizing their chief purpose of evoking occult resemblances. All noted metaphysical poets, such as Donne, Marvell, Herbert and Vaughan, have made extensive use of conceits in their poetry which has given a peculiar touch and distinction to their poetry. The conceits, by their very nature, appear somewhat obscure and strange to the reader, but they have served to bear testimony to the vast learning that these poets are known for. 6. Metaphysical poetry often shows argumentative expression of emotional contents. Moreover, conversational tone, colloquial language, and abrupt beginning are some other striking features of metaphysical poetry. Now, let us go ahead and discuss these traits in the metaphysical poems, The Good Morrow, The Sun Rising and the Canonization by John Donne. First, we see a plethora of conceits in all the aforesaid poems. In The Good Morrow, John Donne compares the transfiguring effect of love and its microcosmic spread to the discoveries of Drake, Magellan and Columbus. His pre-love days are compared to the slumber in The Seven Sleepers' Den. Comparison of the lovers to the two hemispheres is another striking conceit in the poem. Thus, two very heterogeneous entities are violently fused in a simple matrix, the unlikeness of which strikes us more than its justness, which is exactly what metaphysical poetry stands for. In The Sun Rising, Donne is with his sweetheart in the bedroom, and scolds an unwelcome intruder as an old busy fool. Here the intruder is not a human being but the sun, which Donne treats as a person. Again, captivated by the fragrance and the luster of his beloved, Donne compares her to the East and West Indies, which are famous for their fragrant spices and diamond mines. In the Canonization, Donne aptly expresses his incessant attraction to his beloved by comparing himself to a fly, and his beloved to a candle. As has been already mentioned, metaphysical poets were learned men whose knowledge of the world around them was discernible in their poetry. The Good Morrow showcases this trait through its extreme heterogeneity of references to many branches of learning, such as geography, astronomy, mythology, and so on. By comparing the quintessence of his love to the fifth element, he draws a parallel from medieval alchemy. Whoever dies was not mixed equally. By definition, metaphysical poetry includes argumentative expression of emotional contents. All these three poems do present the thoughts in an argumentative tone which is marked by the words like, if, but, or, and, for, etc. Donne explores the possibility of canonization of his love in the following logical manner. We can die by it, if not live by love. And if unfit for tomb or hearse, our legend be, it will be fit for verse. In the Good Morrow, Donne's belief and doubt about the immortality of love is logically suggested in the final line. If he and his lover are able to love each other truly, wholly, and equally, they can transcend mortal death. If our two loves be one, or, thou and I love so alike, that none do slacken, none can die. Conversational tone and colloquial language, which are striking features of metaphysical poetry, pervade all these three poems. Not weaned, sucked, snorted, morrow, troth, and slacken, are all colloquial words used in the Good Morrow. Here is the conversational tone this poem bears at its beginning itself. I wonder by my troth, what thou and I did, till we loved. Were we not weaned till then? Abrupt beginning, which is another feature of metaphysical poetry, is easily noticeable in the above lines. It is, in fact, seen in all the three poems, following the metaphysical poetry tradition. For example, for God's sake hold your tongue and let me love. The Canonization. Busy old fool. Unruly sun, the sun rising. Love, which is a salient abstract theme metaphysical poetry deals with, dominate all the three poems we are discussing. In The Sun Rising, Donne compares his lady love to the world and himself to all the monarchs of the world. He even wishes to obliterate the sun simply by shutting his eyes and the whole universe would shrink down to the size of his bedroom. Donne's deep love for his beloved gets perfect expression in the poems, mainly throughout the use of several striking conceits which are quite far-fetched and hyperbolic. These conceits are immensely responsible for providing the poems with obscurity and novelty of thought, which is what the metaphysical poets try for. Finished. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates of ready-made notes on English literature. Also, please share this channel to help any student pursuing a degree in English literature. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please do not forget to like and comment.